Welcome back to Anime Chaos. I'm Shy.
I'm Kyle.
Okay, so today we're going to be doing a breakthrough, basically continuing the trend that I've got spearheaded. We're talking about ABO Desire or just Desire. You can watch it on Viki or Gaga Ooh La La. Those are the two websites that you can find it on. I'm pretty sure you can also watch it on Daily Motion, but I'm not really sure. I feel like you can, but the actual streaming services will be Viki and Gaga Ooh La La that you can watch it on.
That is such a wild name for
but
website. We're not going to go deep into that.
Yeah, but you get the point. You know.
And in the meantime, I'm also probably going to be just sucking on this Tootsie Pop because I'll have almost nothing to contribute to.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Sorry.
So we're here.
We're here.
There's something else that matched that. But anyway, so it's called Desire. And it is a 16-episode series, China drama. It is an Omegaverse. Now, if you're not familiar with Omegaverse, it's usually dealing with alpha, betas, omegas. In this instance, it has an enigma. And enigmas are usually like the alphas of all alphas or alphas among alphas. So they can basically pick whoever they mate with and impregnate them. So
I just wanted to put this out there real quick. I did that quiz. I'm a loner alpha.
What quiz did you do?
The alpha, beta, omega quiz.
What quiz was that?
You didn't know about that quiz?
No.
Oh.
I want to take the quiz. I want to know.
Yeah. I saw some streamers do it, and I was like, okay, I'll just see what I get.
I want to take the quiz.
I got loner alpha, which makes sense for me. Well, you not so much the alpha part, but the loner part, yes.
Yeah, you like wolves.
I do.
So it checks. I
just never would have guessed myself an alpha.
What, more like a beta, just like y'all just duke it out and we'll figure out.
Or probably even an omega at that point. I'm just like, I don't want to be here.
Betas, you'd be more of a beta then.
Oh yeah. Okay. I expect it to be a beta. I want it being an alpha.
Yeah, because betas are usually seen more as the mutuals in the middle. They're not really led by their instincts or anything like that. They don't really get the pheromones that is let off by alphas and omegas. They are not really affected. So if an alpha lets off pheromones, it affects an omega, or in this universe, depending on your level of alpha, can affect the lesser ones. Oh. So betas are kind of like, yeah, these fumes don't really affect me as much, so they're kind of seen as the mediators between the two, because omegas and alphas are kind of led a little bit more by their instincts, depending on how it's written and how the genre goes, because everyone does theirs a little differently.
Well, I'll show you that quiz later on, because it's like 43 questions, and it gets dumber and dumber as you go, but it's kind of fun.
But no, so I honestly wish that it was longer than 16 episodes. I feel like they could have put in a little bit more. But if they went based off of the novel. Now, here's the thing is I have not read the novel. I'm still looking for it currently because I want to read the novel, see what was taken out, what was added. I do know that they didn't go into much detail with the secondary couple, which a lot of people for some reason was upset about that. But for the people that read the novel, they said that the secondary couple, they barely showed them at all in the novel. So they kind of gave them a more appearance in the show than they did in the novel. So it's like...
So what people were hoping for was a full flesh out moment then?
I get... Not what do you mean?
Like a full flesh out on that second couple. If they were barely shown in the novel altogether, and then they got a little bit more of an appearance in the show, maybe people were just hoping for a full flesh out.
Show them more. Yeah. But they stayed truer to the novel, which is the main focus is the main couple, the main character. So therefore, that's what we're going to be focusing on. That's what the book is mostly about. The secondary couple, they're just bits and bobs and pieces that, showed up here and there. Mm-hmm. And of course, you showed their dynamic as to what their relationship was. And so there was a lot of people that was upset. That was like, they didn't get enough screen time for them. I get that. And the fact that these actors did so good with the secondary couple, because some episodes you got 7 minutes of view time for them. And that was it. They showed. And so the fact that they got so little screen time as the show progressed, the first couple episodes, you saw a lot more of the secondary couple because it's introducing all the characters. Mm-hmm. For me, I like that they stayed truer to the novel. And I like that the actors that did play the secondary couple did so well that they got so much love with the little bit of screen time that they had. Mm-hmm. And so...
real quick, I just want to point this out. This has almost nothing to do with it, but it relates in a way. In Naruto, in the manga, they completely skipped over Tamari and 1010's fight during the Chunin exam preliminary things in the manga entirely. So they fleshed it out and did that quick whole thing in the anime. So
You gave them a little bit more.
They gave them something so that it wasn't just like, well, what happened? Because they skipped over it entirely.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like what they. So yeah.
So that's kind of where I was relating to it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt on that. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. So yeah, no, they didn't give them much. They gave them more screen time than what those who read the novel said that they gave them. However, people are people, and they wanted to be seen more. And they was like, oh, well, the secondary couple, and we don't really want to see the main couple. Was like, the show is about the main couple. So I would feel a type of way if they didn't show more of the main couple when this show is about the main couple.
To me more like they were wanting a continuation from the manga rather than an adaptation altogether.
Yeah. So, there was talk about a second season. Hopefully they do a second season. And maybe if they do a second season, you'll see more of the secondary couple in their lives. Because yes, the ending, how it ended with the secondary couple, me personally, I love the main couple. You show a secondary couple, you don't, it didn't make no difference to me. But how it ended for them, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more from them. So it did feel like you were kind of cheated. I will say that for people that really, really, really like the secondary couple, you were
hoping to see a lot more.
A little bit more at the end. Like they got a hug.
Oh.
And then it fades out and it goes back to the main couple. It's like, and then the main couple talks about them, but you don't actually see it. It's like, so
it's kind of almost like they got married off screen.
It was like an off-screen. They didn't get married yet, but it was like an off-screen. They're slowly fixing their relationship. Yeah. It was an off-screen thing where a lot of people was kind of like, we rather would have seen it than being told about it. You know, you
were basically watching these characters get written off in real time.
But yeah, anyway, so the main characters is the two main characters. I keep saying the secondary couple, main couple. Who are they? So we have Hua Young. You have Xing Xiaoyu. Then you have Shin. I always get those mixed up. Shin Wanlong. And then I'm going to butcher this guy's name. So starting from now on, it's just going to be Secretary G. Galto, something like that. I'm going to butcher his name. So from moving forward, it's just going to be
a tongue twister in my head.
But for some reason, I can't get. He's going to be Secretary G from now on if I ever mention him again.
Okay.
And then we have the other secretaries, which is Chen and Ching.
Oh.
Ching Yu. Which that one, remember we talked about Revenge Love and Counterattack?
Yes.
He actually was the main character playing Wei Wei. And that was, I was like, when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's true. That's him. So he didn't have a love interest in it because he's technically still coupled with the guy that he played in that one from like 2005, 15, whenever I said Counterattack came out.
I think so.
So you have Hua Young, who is the Enigma, pretending to be an Omega. That's important. Then you have Mr. Xing, who is an S rank alpha. Now they're the top, right? Then you got S, A, B, You have Wanlong, who's also an S alpha. They butt heads all the time for reasons, and it's explained.
Well, that makes sense. An alpha butting with an alpha makes total sense.
Well, it's a lot of posturing, but there's a reason why, and now I'm getting to that. You have Secretary G, who is an Omega, pretending to be a Beta.
Oh, okay.
Now he's pretending to be a Beta due to trauma reasons. So those are the main characters. You have an Enigma pretending to be an Omega who's in love with an S rank alpha, which is Mr. Shin. Then you have the S rank alpha who was an Omega hater. Keep that in mind. Okay. An Omega hater and a secretary who is an Omega pretending to be a Beta, and therefore he does not know. Keep that in mind. Okay.
I'll do the best I can.
Ha Young has been in love with Mr. Xing since he was like 8 years old when they met. Okay, so he's been in love with this guy for 15 years because he's 23.
Are they on the same age range?
No, Mr. Xing is a little bit older, but not like old man. Like they're both kids.
Okay.
But he's 8, he's not.
Gotcha.
Like they're both kids. So they met when Mr. Xing went on like a conference with his dad when they were a kid to country P. They never explain what the P means. It's just a letter. That's when they meet. Ha Young is getting bullied by some other kids, and they happens to like meet up at a tree where Mr. Xing is taking a nap because of course he is. Okay. And so he has a book over his face and he goes, "You're interrupting my nap. Like, what are y'all doing?" And so he gets up and then because again, Ha Young hasn't presented yet. And so everyone thinks he's going to be an Omega because, he's so pretty. Obviously, he's going to be a lesser.
Oh, so these are like category things that literally present themselves with time.
They're a subgender. Yeah. Like,
right.
Yeah. And how this world is a virus that broke out. So it's not something that it was just always around. It was just something broke out and this became a thing. Some people just became these different ranks. Right?
Gotcha.
And then after that, there's it's like a mutation, if you will. And you either become an alpha, an omega, or a beta. And a beta is just like a normal, regular human. Like their pheromones, all the stuff is not as strong as everyone else's. So it takes a lot to really affect them. And so he meets him under the tree. He protects him from the little other bullies because they were just like, people that bully people, you get on my nerves. And there's like, well, who are you talking? And then, of course, he's already presented as an S rank, which is the highest of the highest. And so he releases his pheromones and basically chokes them out until they run away.
I see.
And so he protects him. He basically tells him, thank you so much for, taking up for me. No one ever has taken up for me before. And then he was like, oh, you're an Omega. And he goes, no, you're not. He goes, I've not presented yet. Meaning I don't know what my rank is. Everyone is just assuming that I'm going to be lesser, right? Okay. Mind you, after that meeting, he does present. Literally, he said a week later, a couple days later, he presents as an Enigma. Not everyone knows that he's present as an Enigma because in this world, there's very few Enigmas, so therefore they're taken as myths.
Gotcha.
They don't really exist. It's just a fairy tale that, moms tell their kids.
Gotcha.
And so Mr. Shing, when he's talking about it with his friends, he goes, yeah, right. Because again, an Enigma, there's S, rank alpha, and then there's Enigma, who's above everyone else, right?
Okay.
So
he's the highest of the highest.
He is the highest of the highest.
Gotcha.
And so no one knows that he is, except for very few people, which is Ching Yu, which is the secretary, who went from his bodyguard to his steward to his secretary, because, growing up.
Yes.
So, and when he presented, he got old enough. He is the 13th child in his family. He's the youngest of 13 kids.
Gotcha.
So he is the 13th child, illegitimate. That's important because Mr. Shing cannot stand illegitimate children because he thinks they're lazy and just users. Why does he have that thought process? Because his dad has a bunch of illegitimate children too who are lazy and users.
I see.
He's the only legitimate heir to his family. And he is the highest ranking one. But then you have the other little brother who is little shit is what he is. All he does is gamble. Now Mr. Shing comes off as like this hard, rough core because he's an alpha, right? But he's really actually kind and sweet and caring to people. But he has a type. What is that type? He likes Omegas that are very meek and like kind of cry and kind of like helpless. He likes to save a hoe. He's like that, Mr. Save a Hoe. If you think of it that way, he likes to be that person that kind of swoops in and, helps somebody, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
So for 15 years, Hua Young has plotted and planned a way to get him to notice him, right? Because again, though, he's an Enigma, so he's kind of like, I can't just come at him like that because it's not going to work, right? So he found all 32 of his exes, all 32 of them. He had a whole, this person, how long did you date? Why? He found the one that he dated the longest, which I think was 6 months. And he goes, how did you stay with him for that long? What did you do to basically be the longest person he's ever dated? I use that term lightly.
Loosely,
yeah. Whoever how long were you two together? What did you do? And you tell me, right? And so now they're all scared because it's like, what the hell? Who's this guy, right? Because he lets off. I'm going to put it this way. This is the only show that I'm okay that this person is a manipulative little psychopath. I am rooting for the manipulative psychopath.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you.
That's how the show is, because he is a manipulative little psychopath. But it's like
it's the Enigma that's the manipulative. Okay. Making sure I'm following.
He planned this for 15 years. So
he also apparently did a little bit of stalking by.
Oh no, he's stalked him for 15 years. No, he stalked him.
32.
He found all 32 of this man's exes to figure out what his type was so that he can study it so that he could become it.
I just couldn't imagine having 32 separate partners
in a span of over 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
That's
however many years that he started dating.
That's not a lot if you think about it, because it's only maybe 2 a year max. But
well, when he gets bored, if they lie to, he doesn't like liars. That's the big part. That's the big part in this too.
That makes sense.
Mr. Shing does not like liars. He doesn't like people lying to him or anything like that. So his best friend, this is why the S-rank alphas get to headbutt. So his best friend, which is Wan Long, their childhood best friends, their mothers, Enigma fathers, let me put it that way, knew each other. So they grew up together as childhood friends. So he creates HS Group. He gives Wan Long the money to start this company.
Mm-hmm.
This company starts skyrocketing in because they do pharmaceuticals. So they deal with the medicine, they deal with the pheromones, they're dealing with, the different type of health things to help, alphas and omegas and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he just got out of the woodwork, I think like 2 years, but his company is already shooting up, which is now becoming a competitor to Mr. Shing's company.
Mm-hmm.
And so he sees him as a rival in that way. His father, Mr. Shing's father, is in the hospital due to gland cancer. And so if you lose your gland, you basically can die. Like if something happens to your glands, you can pretty much just die.
So are all these people basically wolf people? Is that what's happening?
Yes, but they don't go full detail like wolfing and changing and like that.
Okay, gotcha.
No, they have the strength, intelligence, speed. Like they release pheromones. And the beautiful thing about it is their flower, like you have one that smells like an iris, sage, orange blossom, and then orchid.
Okay.
The omega smells like an orchid. Mr. Shing, I believe, is the orange blossom and rum. I believe the iris is Wan Long, and then the sage is Secretary G.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's pretty much like the premise of it, but they don't turn to wolves or none of that. They do have ruts and heats and stuff like that. They do experience that. So let's see.
That is weird, but okay. I'm following.
Yeah.
I'm doing the best I can to follow anyway. It's making enough sense. Secretary G. That's funny.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try to attempt this man's name. Like I can say it normally, but trying to talk about it and explain it, it gets a little because Wan Long does not care for omegas. It's stressful for the secretary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Secretary G,
Mm-hmm.
because when he is an omega, he has to deal with the heat. He has to deal with all the things. He's taken so many suppressants that it's affecting his health to the point the doctor's like, you need to stop. You're going to eventually kill yourself. Like, you need to stop. Are you trying to do that? And he's like, no. He's like, well, then you need to stop taking these. You've been taking them for years and years and years. Your alpha is a piece of shit. And he goes, I don't have an alpha. And he goes, are you sure? Then why are you doing this? His trauma comes from because his omega mom told him to never reveal that he's an omega because his dad is a piece of shit.
Gotcha.
Yeah, his dad's a gambler.
So he's the one pretending to be the beta then?
Yes, because it started from his mother telling him, never tell no one, especially your dad, that you're an omega too.
Okay.
And so it started from there. And then the person that he started liking in high school, which was Wan Long, and become friends with him, just happened to don't like omegas either. So he's like, okay, then I can't tell you either,
Mm-hmm.
or else you're going to write me off like you do every other omega that ever comes into your life.
Mm-hmm. So I have a quick question.
Yes.
The betas, do they typically just get with other betas because they're the most stable?
Typically, in most cases, like in the Omegaverse, typically betas are with betas.
Mm-hmm.
Omegas are with alphas. They're, depending on the universe, depending on what you read, you will get alphas and alphas, but that's kind of a non-traditional relationship.
Do alphas and betas ever get together, or betas and omegas?
Again, that's more of untraditional.
Okay.
They can happen, but usually the tradition is alpha omega, but they can mate with the others. But the slim chance of getting children from a beta is lesser than if you wanted children with an omega.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Because that has the whole thing to do with you can just be guaranteed to get an omega pregnant.
Yeah.
Basically, especially if you're an alpha.
Yeah. Like there's more of a guarantee to produce offspring with the standard pairing.
Thank goodness I took that quiz, or I'd be lost.
Woo. Look at that. See, look, you following along better than you did with my other one. So you know it's good.
Yeah.
All right. So
all it took was wolf ideology.
And well, it's your favorite animal, so this should be right up your alley.
Yeah.
So, but let's see. Oh yeah. So.
Because I'm a basic bitch.
But there's nothing basic about these characters, unfortunately. They're very complex, and I really wish it was more than 16 episodes.
Mm.
Back to the part where he basically gets the 32 X's together.
Mm-hmm.
He does his research. So what does Hwa Young does? He pretends to be an Omega. How does he do that? He gets the mannerisms. He gets the meek look. I love how they do the clothing, because he goes, when he's in Enigma mode, he's wearing black. He's wearing darker clothes. Okay. And then when he's Omega, it's softer clothes. So it's the whites and the creams and like the very innocent look.
They color-coded that.
Yeah, like the very innocent looks. And then I love how just facial expressions in general can tell so much without even saying anything.
Yeah, yeah.
And so there's scenes where like his eyes are really bright and look like really innocent. And then when something happens, he goes like it's just a smooth transition, but it's so clear.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because like later on in the show, he does that a lot more. But he switch back real quick and go.
So what does an alpha wear then?
Well, they're businessmen, so most of the time you see Mr. Shing and Business suits, exactly.
Yeah, gotcha.
And
then a beta would basically be wearing a lot more just standard clothing, I'm assuming.
Yeah, but in this case, since majority the two that are actual betas, which is Ha Young's secretary, which is Mr. Ching Yu, and then Mr. Chen, who is Mr. Xing's secretary, they're wearing suits majority of the time too because they're secretaries.
They're the secondary class. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, so since they're the secretaries, and Mr. G, who's pretending to be a beta, they all wear suits every time, most of the time you see them, because it's usually work related when you see them.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they do the flashback episode where you see a little bit more of Ha Young growing up and stalking Mr. Xing, you have Mr. Ching Yu calling him and is like, are you back in that other province? I need you to come back because your dad's coming back. And he goes, they're not going to notice I'm not there. He's a 13th child. And he got picked on and bullied by his other siblings. So he's like, they're not going to care that I'm not there. And a lot of them don't know that he's an enigma. Only a small group knows that he's actually an enigma. So Wanlong knows he's an enigma. His cousin knows he's an enigma. And of course, his secretary knows he's an enigma. So
the people who needed to know.
Exactly. If you need to know, you know. And then, of course, his father, plus the lawyer, plus the notary who he threatened. I say he threatened. They never explicitly say it, but I think he did. He got them to, they knew, because he's a 13th child. His dad didn't really care for him at all, but yet he becomes the sole heir and shareholder of their company.
Oh,
so the other kids or the other siblings are just come like, what the frick did you do? And he goes, do you have any proof of it? Like, I don't like people that just talk. Do you have any proof that I did that? And he goes, well, if I had any proof, would I be standing here talking to you? He's like, oh, so you just talking. So again, what are you going to do about it? You have no proof that I did that. I'm like, oh, you did do it. You did do it though.
No action, huh?
Yeah. Gotcha. Because with an enigma, they don't really feel fear. Their pain tolerance is really, really high. Their intelligence is out through the roof. Their speed is crazy. And so he's just like I said, the alpha of alphas, right? And so he doesn't know how to feel pain. Like he feels it, but it has to be an extreme level. Like he's not indestructible, but he doesn't know how to cry. And so he thought something was wrong with him. And so he went to a doctor and was like, clearly something's wrong with me. I can't cry. I don't hold that emotion, because his strength is so powerful. It's like there's no room for that. And plus his family, the family dynamic was just horrible there. So showing any type of weakness, was
unacceptable. Anyway.
Yeah, it was a weakness. If you show any type of vulnerability, it's just going to be attacked from people around. So he didn't really have anyone he could trust. And so he didn't know how to cry. Well, Mr. Xing's type of Omega in person is, like, oh, woe is me. He taught himself how to cry.
Oh.
He taught himself how to cry in order to get closer to Mr. Xing. So he went through a lot of therapy.
So he's a great actor.
Oh, I told you, this man is the only type of manipulator I approve of. Like, I was rooting for the manipulation. I was like, this is.
It's sounding like it was well-deserved manipulation, though, by some standards.
Well, he tells him at some point, Mr. Xing, he goes, you're naive. And he goes, I'm naive. He goes, I didn't mean it like that. Because, he'd done been tricking him this whole time, too. So he was like, you need someone that can protect you in the sense of I can see through the bullshit when you don't. Like, you want to see the good in somebody, you want to do all this, but that's not the case for everybody, especially people closer to you. Like, family is not your family. And I come from a very effed up family and dynamic and background. And so that's great that you're such an amazing, kind person, but you're naive, and therefore I need to protect you. But at the same time, he's like, and he tells him that in the beginning, when I first met you, when we were kids, it was just kind of like an infatuation, just like, oh, you're different. Because again, growing up, he just saw everyone just be bully and pick on the weak, right? Especially alphas, they picked on the weak. And then there's this S-rank alpha who's the top of the top, who's kind and protective and defend the people, like defend the weak, basically, takes up for them. And so that's what kind of spearheaded him just going, you're different. Why are you different? And then that's kind of what started the stalking and watching him, which then eventually turned into actually love. Because again, as an enigma, it's like that feeling is not there. And growing up in his environment, of course, it wasn't going to be there. But I think, and like I said, eventually everything does come to light, and he tells him what happened. The circumstances that led up to that, it wasn't the way he wanted to tell him. Even Wanlong was like, what are you going to do when you finally tell him? Now, mind you, this man would cook food that Mr. Xing didn't really care for. He would bake goods that he didn't really like sweets.
Mm-hmm.
He would do all these things, which was a way of conditioning him to like things that he didn't normally would go for.
Oh, okay.
Because like you say you like omegas and just omegas. I'm not an omega, so therefore I'm going to do all these things to get you to basically to like me. So when I do tell you the truth, it's already too late. My claws are already in, and you like you like me. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So he did all of these things. Like Mr. Shing didn't like porridge. He didn't like cold noodles, like stuff for breakfast. He didn't like all these things. What did he do?
Literally cook everything he didn't like.
Yeah, I made you this. And of course, since at this point he's thinking he's an omega, he eats it. And he's done that. He keeps doing it. He doesn't like sweets, so he claims. He baked him cookies and kept delivering them. He gave him weekly cookies. Every week he'd have the cookies delivered, to the point that one week when he didn't get them, he goes, "Where's my cookies? Like where? You've been giving these to me every week. Where are they?" So he calls him basically like, "Yo, where's my cookies? Like you've been delivering these to me, because when they first delivered them, because the secretary, Mr. Chen, was like, "You don't really eat this. Do you want me to get rid of it?" He goes like, "No." Like he made them. It's nice. Let me just try one. He goes, "Okay, man." And then he started eating them. And so he conditioned him to want the things that he normally wouldn't want. Yeah. Therefore, I'm going to condition you to want me, even though you don't know that I'm not,
Gotcha.
And so he tells him, he goes, "You little psychopath." And he goes, "Only for you." And I'm just like, in so many words.
Wow.
He asks him, what he tells him is basically was there anything you ever did that was truthful? You lied about everything. So was there anything that you actually was truthful about? And he's like, "I'm truthful about my feelings for you." Out of everything else I did to manipulate it, that's the one thing that's always been true, is my feelings towards you, because I did all of this for you, which that's when he finally tells him, "We met 15 years ago.
Oh.
And so he goes, "Wait, so you basically was my fanboy?" And he goes, "I'm just a fanboy for you." And I'm just like, "Yeah, you're both crazy." Oh. Because most people will be like scared and kind of terrified, where Mr. Shing kind of found like, "That's hot." Like that's literally the vibes he was giving off, because he was kind of like, but again, we're happy for this. We are happy for this, because he made him work for a whole nother episode. He was very upset with him. And so he had to grovel for a whole episode to get him to forgive him. Because again, like I said, at one point, Mr. Shing doesn't like liars. And Mr. Chen actually tells Hua Young that he broke up with one of his exes because the guy lied to him, or the girl, whoever it was, because they lied to him. He doesn't like liars. He said he was 20 minutes late for a date or something. And instead of just telling the truth why he was late, he lied. And then when Mr. Shing found out what it was, he broke up with him. So he's like, the fact that you're still around means he's fallen for you. Like he actually does love you. And so that, of course, that makes Hua Young happy. He goes, "Oh, really?" Because it still is like, I'm still groveling. I don't really know. So he tells him like, but don't lie to him again. Like, don't lie anymore, basically. And so, because Mr. Shing did tell him, he goes, "I'm going to give you one more chance, but you will not lie to me again." And he goes, "Okay, I won't lie to you anymore. I promise." So he goes, "Answer my questions. Do you actually have this? He goes, No, yes. And he has a smile on his face. I tell him like, "Yes, I'm finally been able to be truthful to you and to myself." And then he basically is like, "Okay, well, if you ever lie to me again, I never want to see you. Get out of my face." He goes, "I won't." And so he goes, "If you're not an omega, what are you?" And so he tells him, "Enigma." Like he tells him what he is. And then Mr. Shing goes, "Oh, you might as well just said you're a Shuka Beta." And he goes, "What's a Shuka Beta?" "No, I don't know them. I'm not from this. I'm not from this town. What is that?" He was making a joke. He was just telling him like, "Oh, basically saying if you're an enigma, then I'm this, right?" So he tells him straight up that what he is. He doesn't believe him.
Of course not.
And I'm just like, you just said if he lies to you again, then he has to get out of your face and never see you again. You're thinking that he's lying. So deep down, I think he knew he's telling the truth, but he just didn't want to believe it.
Right.
Because
that would put him on the lower rung.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just right below him.
Yeah, but it's still the lower rung.
Yeah. And it's a way of saying like, you just said if he lies to you again. You asked him what was his subgender, and he told you an enigma, and you didn't believe him. So therefore, in your mind, he lied to you, but he didn't go nowhere. So deep down, I think he knew that he was telling the truth. It doesn't really come to light until he gets hurt, like severely hurt, like his gland gets cut. But because he's an enigma, his pain tolerance and healing ability is like through the roof.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. So even though it hurt, he was able to heal from it. He had to get a blood transfusion, and only through the blood transfusion did Mr. Ching finally believe what he was saying was true, because his secretaries actually said, no, he's not an S rank alpha. He's not that. He's an enigma. So therefore we need, I think, E-type blood, because enigma. So
it's basically O positive blood.
Yeah. So like he needs that, which is very rare because there's not very many around. So they had to get that. And also, according to people that read the novels, they not so politely threaten the doctors to not disclose that he's an enigma, because again, enigmas are so rare. They don't want them to be experimented on like that, which I don't think they would be able to, because they are the top of the food chain.
Yeah.
But still, they don't want that knowledge just out there, because only very few people know. According to everyone else in their lives, like Mr. Shing's dad, who he does get the cure for, because the company is called X Holding that Hwa-Young is over, because when they were kids, when he asked Mr. Shing for his contact information, he just drew an X on a piece of paper.
Oh.
He's like, you don't have to thank me. You don't have to, do anything like that. And just gave that to him and walked off. So the company, once he got a hold to it, he changed it to X Holding. Oh. Because of the X he gave him. HS Group stands for Pumpkin and Shi Group. So he named his friend's company after him and Mr. Shi. Everything that he's ever done is revolved around this man. And the only reason why Wang allowed that to happen is because he gave him money for the company. So he's like, if I give you the money for the company, I get to name it. You don't get to change the name of it. And basically, I own the company with you. You're the spearhead of it. You're the CEO of it. But I get final say when certain things happen. If I say this happens, then we're going to do that type thing. When he finally actually officially got with his man, he called his secretary, told the secretary to call all their what's the word? The company and the other groups that they have underneath.
Subdivision?
Thank you. Tell them to take the day off, a paid day off, because he finally got to sleep with his man.
Oh.
He was happy. So he said, everyone get a paid day off. Just take the day. Now, mind you, at this time, Wang is going through it, because Secretary G is kind of like, I think he resigned at this point. I don't remember. But he's just like, why the hell am I taking a day off? He goes, because Wang said everyone gets a paid day off, because, he finally got his man and he's already planning their wedding. Mind you, he ain't proposed to him yet, but the wedding is in progress. That's the next step. And so, yeah, he told everyone to take the paid day off because he got laid, basically. Like, that's literally it. And so,
could you even imagine?
Like, I got a paid day off because my boss got laid. Whatever. I'll take it.
I will take it.
I will take it. So, and the wedding proposal was so over the top and extra, but it was such a thing for him to do, because, again, he's shameless. He is out and proud. Everyone who needed to know that he loved this man since 15 years ago, know. His house back in Country P, all the portraits, drawings. Mind you, the actual actor that plays Hwa-Young can draw. So some of the sketches were actually him sketching portraits of this guy himself.
Nice.
And so his house is filled with it. Going back to when I mentioned when he first took over the company and he asked his brother, do you have any proof that I did this? His brother takes one of the portraits off and goes, oh, is this the person that you have a crush on? He's like, give me that picture back. Like, give it back to me right now. And he goes, oh, you want it back? And he rips it. And a lot of pieces and throws it back at him. And then he looks at him and goes, which hand do you want to keep, your left or right?
Oh.
And then now all you see is his blood and then a scream. Yeah. Later on, they bring the brother back. He's missing an arm. He took his arm. He took his hand, but his whole arm was not in the sleeve. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, no, he don't play when it comes about his man.
So these guys literally have the strength of wolves too, then. Yeah,
like it's everything but the transforming thing of it. Okay. And like his eyes when he's like the artwork, the graphics are so beautiful because when they actually get angry enough, when you actually see the fumes and like their pheromones coming off them, you'll see their scent flower appear on their arm, like on their hand. Okay. And so you'll see an iris, you'll see, a sage, you'll see the orchid or the blossom, like you'll see that appear. And so there's one scene where Hwa-Young gets really upset and it comes all across his face. And I was like, it was so beautiful. Oh. Granted, he did tell the guy, he's like, I would kill you, but Mr. Shing would never forgive me if I killed you. So I'm just about to hurt you, but I ain't gonna kill you. I'm not gonna.
You're gonna lose an arm, but you'll still live.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna full on kill you. I'll let the law handle it. but I'm going to make sure that you feel all the pain.
Ooh,
all the pain.
okay.
Like he literally told the brother, was basically like, you're lucky my brother-in-law, I let you live this long because you're, my now fiance's brother.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't cross the line. You tried to kill him. So you're going to have to feel something, right? And so there was other guys that tried to assassinate him at one point. And he told him, he goes, no, they're alive. He goes, they're alive. He goes, no, they're alive. They're in prison. I let the officers do it. And then they cut to talking to his secretary. And he goes, yeah, get them arrested, but never let them see the light of day again. So he's going to get them killed in prison.
Nah.
So that's how I take it. I'm like, oh, they're still going to die.
Slow and painful.
They're just going to die in prison. So he didn't kill them, but he's going to make sure somebody does it.
Kills them.
Somebody's going to kill him.
Gotcha.
But it's one of those shows, again, where you meet the dad who's a horrible person. Like, I get you saved your dad, but at the same time, he's horrible. Because when he meets Hwa Young for the first time, he's like, oh, he seems like a good, respectable Omega. Because, again, he don't need to let everybody know he's an Omega. So to keep Mr. Shing, who's he's an S-rank alpha, they're prideful. Mm-hmm. So it's like, the world will see me as your Omega. Mm-hmm. But we know, our friends know, who needs to know, that I'm an Enigma and you're my Omega, right? So like, you're my exclusive Omega, even though you're an S-rank alpha. But to the world and for your pride, I'm okay to play an Omega to the public for you, right? Because he told him, even when he proposed, he was like, shouldn't I be the one proposing to you? He goes, that works too. But will you marry me? Like, will you still marry me? And so he takes the box and puts the ring on his own finger, and then he takes his hand and puts it on his finger, and then he goes, from now on, you're Mrs. Shing. And he's like, I'm fucking okay with that. Like, I'm okay with it. Like, I'm okay with it. Like, as long as I get to marry you, I don't freaking care if I'm Mrs. in this relationship. Because
you're Mrs. Shing.
You're Mrs. Like, you proposed to me, I proposed to you. It don't matter. It happened. I got what I wanted. 15 years plotting and planning has come to fruition. But he made the public announcement. He literally had fireworks going off. He had a waterfall that said, please marry me, Mr. Shing. I love you. Have my children. I want to have children with you. And so the world thinks it's an Omega, which is fine. He doesn't care if anyone knows or not. But because he did such a public proposal, the dad finds out about it and goes, oh, I need you can take Hwa Young as a mistress, but you need to marry the CEO of X Holding, who's an Omega. And he goes, Mr. Shing's like, you want me to do what now? And he goes, yeah, I want you to, like, Hwa Young seems like a good, wholesome, Omega, but he doesn't come from an influential family, blah, blah, blah. And so he's like, I'm not going to be you who have mistresses, and I don't like cheaters. And I'm like, so the dad doesn't really know you at all. Because he literally said, I don't do cheaters. I don't like cheaters. He goes, we're not talking about me. But you're literally wanting him to do what you're doing, like what you did. Mm-hmm. No, not to mention your son just tried to kill me twice. Mm-hmm. Like, there's numerous times that he tried to kill me and you've protected him. What are you talking about? So no. And so he leaves, and then Hwa Young's like, okay, bet. At this point, let me just go visit. Let me go visit dad myself. So he has the secretary call Hwa Young and say that the Mr. Shing's dad wants to meet him. Mm-hmm. And so he goes and meets him. He goes, you seem like a, really respectable, blah, blah, blah. The pissant story they be telling people. And so.
But you're not right for my son. You're not good enough.
Yeah. I'm sure you saw, because again, it was public. I'm sure you saw the proposal that the CEO of X Holding did for my son. He goes, yeah. He's like, duh, I did it. But yeah, I know, I saw it. And then he's like, so why are you still like, so you understand? He goes, so you want your son to marry the CEO of X Holding is what you're saying. And he goes, yes. And you can still have you on the side as a mistress. Side note, if the X Holding was an actual Omega, but it wasn't Hwa Young, he wasn't going to live. That Omega was not going to live. Hwa Young would have got rid of them. Mm. He would have got rid of any obstacle that had stopped him. Mm-hmm. Luckily, he is the CEO. And so he goes, all right, then. He stands up and he goes, I understand, Dad. And the CEO goes, Dad, what are you talking about? Like, his dad goes, Dad. He goes, let me reintroduce myself. I am 23-year-old the CEO and head of X Holding. And then the thing goes, and then it blacks out. Like, yeah. Yeah. Like, you just gave permission for me to marry someone. He already had it to begin with, because before that, when he first met the dad, mm-hmm. Mr. Shing had said he was going to marry Hwa Young at some point. Like he would marry him someday, that the dad gave him his blessing already.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said, my dad pretty much gave you, his blessing if we were to marry. He's probably already planning our kids, our firstborn's name. And then that's when Hwa Young goes, I already got the name. Our firstborn name is going to be Kao Shing. I thought of this name since I was 16. Like I've planned and plotted our lives. Okay. I got everything down to a pat. He goes, I already got it. And his nickname's going to be Peanut. Mm-hmm. He I've planned this since I was 16 years old. So he's like, your dad already.
And his nickname is Peanut.
I'm ahead of the game. And so by him saying, you know what, you've already given me permission twice now. This is the second time that you've given me permission to marry your son. And so that whole scene, and all of a sudden, of course, after that, the dad calls him and like, why didn't you tell me that, Hwa Young was the CEO of X Holding? Why does this fucking matter? It's the person I told you that I love. That should have just been enough,
Right.
Like, this is the person I told you I love and I wanted to be with. That should have been it. And so they get their little happy ever after. He does get his child, and they do name him Peanut. Fun fact, the two actors of the main character, they actually live together, and they do have a pet named Peanut. So it works.
That's funny.
Right? They live together, the two main actors.
I love a good sense of humor like that.
And their actual pet is named Peanut. So I was like, the fact that when they got these characters, like this role, their baby's name is going to be Peanut. I was like, oh, that's cute. That's cute. So it's full circle moment and feeding into my delusion.
I love that. That's delightful.
Mm-hmm. And they just, crazy enough. Also, I think it was Hwa Young's character, like the actor that plays Hwa Young.
Mm-hmm.
I think he got his role first, and he's the one that actually recommended the actor that plays Mr. Shing because it's his roommate.
Mm-hmm.
Like they live together, but they live together. And so he was like, he'd be the perfect person to play this because one, I'm comfortable with this person already.
So the chemistry's already there.
The chemistry's already there. We don't have to really work too much on that. And he would be a good fit. They almost didn't cast him because he was just too pretty. He was too pretty. They was like, nah,
Don't figure that one.
He might be too pretty to play this character. He was like, trust. He will deliver it. He delivered. All four of those actors, Desire 4, because everyone calls them, they delivered these roles. So I'm like, the fact that, and he is pretty, but he plays the role correctly because he's an S alpha that technically gets treated like an omega. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it works.
He gets omega-fied.
Yes. He get the princess treatment like he deserves. Because when I tell you, Hwa Young, he's like, I'm not opposed to cooking and cleaning and being whatever you need me to be in public. I will say whatever you need me to say. I will be whatever you need me to be. And I will do whatever you need me to do as long as it's for you. Very obsessive, very manipulative. But at the same time, it's just like, it works. It works. But
it's one of those things where it can only work in TV.
Oh yeah, I rooted the mess out of these characters, but I really hope if they do get a second season, that they would show a little bit more of their kids because they did have a kid. They did like a 3-year gap, like a 3-year jump, and so you see their son who is with his uncle Wanlong, but he calls him Daddy Wanlong because during childbirth, Mr. Shing almost died, and Hwa Young was like, "I'm dying too. If he dies, I'll go too." And so he basically was like, if he dies, I'm going to get my lawyer writing everything. You're going to be the guardian of him. Mm-hmm. You take care of him. All my assets, I'm going to write it to you. And then Wanlong is like, why are you giving me responsibilities for your kid? He goes, because if he goes, I go. And I'm telling you right now, if he goes, I go. And so in the novel, it breaks down even more to where Wanlong does tell Mr. Shing that Hwa Young had said that. What he didn't tell him was that he basically said, if this kid didn't have the same DNA running through his bodies as Mr. Shing, I would take him out along with me. Like we'd both just go. But if I did that, then I'd basically be killing a part of, the love of my life. Mm-hmm. Wanlong did not relate that last tidbit to Mr. Shing. So I'm like, yeah, that would have been a bit much. Yeah, some stuff you might want to keep to yourself. Mm-hmm. But he very much told him, is like, if he dies, I'm going to take myself out to be with him. Like this is my forever partner, for real. And so with Secretary G and Wanlong, again, he's I don't like omegas. And so every time Mr. G had to leave for like his heat or something, he would always say, oh, my omega at home. And he's like, you have an omega at home? And he's like, yes. And he's like, you know, they're manipulative. You know, they're da-da-da. Are you sure? You know, just tearing him down, not knowing you're tearing down the person that you like. He likes him.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just tearing him down, not knowing it. And there's at one point, Hwa-young tells him, he goes, why are you saying that the smell of sage is a horrible smell? He's like, it's really pleasant. It's not overpowering. It's soothing.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, no, it's not. And he goes, okay. Basically saying like, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Like there's so many instances where I think Hwa-young's character knew that Secretary G was an Omega because again, his senses are just stronger than everyone else's.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't say anything because kind of just like you just dig your own ditch at this point. Because I'm telling you, maybe you should talk a little nicer to this guy. Maybe you should, you know, do certain things. But what would I know? I've just been plotting for 15 years to the love of my life. What do I know?
Right.
You know? So in the end, they do meet up again because they did have like a little rendezvous by accident. And so Secretary D just does get pregnant by One-Long. And so he's like, oh shit, I gotta go. Because one, I don't want him to find out that I'm an Omega. Two, I don't want him to think that I manipulated him in this, because that was never the thing. But of course, when One-Long finds out about it, he's kind of just like, I have a kid. Like, where did you go? Like when he finds out that he's an Omega, because he does find out too. But by then it's too late because he disappears. Now in the novel, it said that One-Long's Omega father helps hide him. And so, but they skipped all of that in the show. That's why I said it could have been longer than 16 episodes. But in the end, in the very last episode, he does run into him again. And that's where a lot of people was like, they got shortchanged because you're telling us what happened. We wanted to see it.
Right.
So I'm hoping that they do get a second season because they did say the authors did say that if it does well, that they would get a second season. So I'm like, you did great. Like this is the very first time that China did a big one when it came to shows like this. Like you did your big one. It really opened a lot of doors.
Big representation.
Yes.
And Greg.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. For real. So that's one of the things we were just like, we're getting that. And then what the fuck? So like you did your big one. Thank you so much to the creators that like their company that they're with to do that. Allow it. Yeah. Well, they were going to come hell or high water. I think they're sisters. I think are they millionaires or billionaires? But one thing is they funded a lot of this because they was like, we want this to be as accurate as possible to it. And then the money showed. Like the money showed. When I tell you the sets, the houses, and the apartments and condos that they were using for their
upscale.
Kyle, one episode he was getting a glass out of the cabinet. He just touched the bottom of it and the screen just popped up like this. And then he reached it, got in, touched it again, and it closed back down. I'm like, oh, say we're poor without saying the world is poor, because what wasn't these fancy freaking cabinets? But it was very cool. And then like the sink and everything, it was very nice.
And to think, all it took for me to follow what was going on was to apply wolf logic to everything.
That's what it is, though. It really is. It really is. It's dealing with
Wolfpack mentality. Boom.
Yeah,
I get it.
And so so the show was so good. Of course, I didn't go into details with a lot of the stuff that happens in it. If you haven't already seen it, by all means, check it out because it was really, really good. Like I really enjoyed it. Now, I will say there are some episodes I feel like they gave a lot and also nothing at all in some of them. Because I was just like, it's lacking something. Like so I could say there was at least like 2 episodes for me that I was kind of just like, what was that? Like you gave me a whole lot of nothing. Like you gave me something, but also nothing at all. And how they did their episodes where it stopped, they picked it back up in the next episode. Like it wasn't one of those like we just faded somewhere else and we're like, no, what happened here? Like it picked up directly from where it left off on the next one.
Well, that's good.
I really wish it was more than 16 episodes, but if they do get a second season, I'm very happy. I do know in the midst of them doing this one, the 2 main guys that did Hwa-young and Mr. Shing's character signed on for, I think, 3 more projects to do together.
Wow.
One of them has already been confirmed. I can't remember the name of it. If I get it, I'll put it up here. But it's basically the same kind of premise where Hwa-young character and Mr. Shing's character, Hwa-young is the pursuer in this one as well as he was in this one. The ones that play the secondary characters, One-Long and Secretary G, I think they signed for 2 more projects. I'm really hoping if they do a second season that does not count as one of their projects.
Mhm.
I'm really hoping that does not count as one of the 2 or 3 projects that they have going. So I'm excited to see. I can't wait to see them in other stuff.
Talk about brand loyalty, though, to consistently work with the same actor over and over and over again for the sake of continuity.
Well, I mean, with a lot of Thai shows, when you get certain couples, if they're doing a show that requires couples, it's going to be those 2 together.
Because it's easy to get the chemistry already.
Yeah, and they've established as the official couple, right? So, of course, they can do stuff separate, and just kind of like this person's here, like short roles, I guess, but they're not actually the main focal point. Or this person will just do a show by themselves, this person will do a show by themselves. But if it's a show where it's either secondary couples or the main couples, if they've been officially a couple in the company, they're going to be paired together unless they break them apart. And then, which happens, that's where this is. So the fact that they China signed on for more projects to do together is a big thing, because usually when it's a one and done, usually they'll do a project and it's a one and done. They don't ever do another one to get like couple wise together. They might be in the same show, maybe if you're lucky, but they won't be put it together as a couple. Okay. So for them to do other projects as a couple, it's a pretty big deal, right? Because they don't normally do that. And so, because like I said with Ching Yu's character, he did a couple with that one guy. I don't think they've done anything together like that since then, but they've never broke up. So that's why he had said, I mentioned earlier, right, when he said, am I coupling with somebody? Because I'm still technically coupled with, my very first partner. But I'm excited. I can't wait to see them again in other stuff, because they have other projects. They have other shows that you can watch too. But seeing the 4 of them in something, I'm excited to see it. I'm hoping they have one where all 4 of them is together again in a show. But either way, I really enjoyed the show. Again, you can watch it on Viki or Gaga, Ooh La La. Bye.
Later.